Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. The Khalsa belongs to Vaheguru and victory belongs to Vaheguru. With the blessings of Vaheguru and Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, today is a day of victory for the Khalsa Panth. Today is a day where good has overcome evil. Today is a day where the light has challenged the darkness. Those people with evil intentions who try to silence the voice of those who speak out against the Indian government, to those evil people we say, you cannot and will not defeat the Khalsa. Many have tried and all have failed. The Indian government attempted to extradite us on a case based on lies and fabricated evidence. It is a disgrace to the British judicial system that the Home Office allowed this fabricated case to reach this stage. The Indian authorities submitted a bundle of 500 pages filled with fraudulent documents, lies and deceit. The first information report, FIR, mentions that the assailants in the attack on Roldar Singh were clean shaven. This was stated by the victim to his son after the attack. This mention of clean shaven assailants was purposely removed from the FIR by Punjab police officer SSP Harmeet Hundal. The CPS and the West Midlands police were aware of this, but they still allowed this fabricated extradition to carry on. These false allegations were already thoroughly investigated in 2010 by the West Midlands CTU unit, who failed to notify the courts due to their collusion with India. A Punjab police officer named SSP Rajinder Sohal was a leading investigating officer on our case. He was one of the officers whose name features in our human rights field research carried out from 2005 to 2008. Our research was published in a book called Smouldering Embers. Rajinder Sohal was involved in the abduction and murder of human rights lawyer in 1993. Despite the fact that he was convicted, he avoided jail for murder and abduction and is still a serving officer in Punjab Police. Rajinder Sohal was also one of the officers who brutally tortured our close friend and fellow human rights activist Jagtar Singh Johal. Rajinder Sohal was involved in the fabrication of evidence in our case too. His vendetta against us was well known by the authorities, but he was still going to be called by the prosecution as a key witness in our case. The Indian government in the request papers also stated that all three of us are Indian nationals and were born in India, which was backed up by the West Midlands police against another lie in an attempt to speed up the extradition process. The West Midlands police, we believe, also had a hand in this corruption, and an independent inquiry must be launched into whether Matt Ward, the former head of West Midlands CTU, received any financial gain from India for his collusion on the case, and also his comments about so-called Sikh extremism in January this year. In 2018, 5 Sikh homes were raided by the West Midlands police, which included 2 of our homes. This was an attempt to silence and disrupt the Free Jaggi Now campaign. We also suspect that they tried to implicate us in the false cases which Jagtar Singh Johal has been detained for the last 4 years. They were unsuccessful, so they resorted to entrapping one of the 5 Sikhs based on a reply to an email. We would never expect that a British citizen such as Jagtar Singh Johal would be severely beaten, tortured, electrocuted by the Indian authorities. The UK government's silence on this matter is due to trade deals with India. We never thought that extradition request against British-born Sikh would have been accepted, but it was. The Punjab police are known for their brutality and corruption. If we were to be extradited, they would have certainly implicated us in other further false cases, just like our Sikh brother Jagtar Singh Johal, who was brutally tortured by the Indian authorities and has since been languishing in an Indian prison for nearly 4 years without any charge. No evidence has been produced against him in the false cases which he has been implicated in. The British public must know that this is all due to India's influence on this country. It is shocking that our extradition papers were signed a day after Dominic Raab returned from India after securing a trade deal with India. This demonstrates the levels of collusion that have taken place. It also raises a question on whether it was the reason he was removed as a Foreign Secretary recently. The Home Secretary, Priti Patel, is being influenced by Indian politicians to target Sikh human rights activists. This must be stopped. We call for an independent inquiry into why the Home Office accepted India's extradition request in a case which the UK authorities already investigated 10 years ago and concluded with no further action. If Priti Patel was having secret meetings in other countries, one can only imagine what she must be doing with India. But today, the Khalsa has been victorious. This is not a victory for the West Midlands 3. It is a victory for the whole Sikh community and all those thousands that have supported us and our families. We request to everyone to go to your local Gurdwara Sahib and do ardas and thank Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj for this victory. Today is your victory. You must all celebrate as it is your victory too. Tek tek पंथ की राज करेगा वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह